What if one day all of humanity turned into zombies? No, this isn't the beginning of a horror movie. It's a question that scientists have been asking themselves for years. In case you're not familiar, a zombie is a type of undead creature that is typically created when someone dies and comes back to life as a cannibalistic monster. The word zombie comes from Haitian voodoo, where zombie slaves were created by using special potions to bring them back from the dead. While the idea of a zombie apocalypse is certainly scary, it's also an interesting topic for scientists to explore. What would happen if all humans were infected? How would society change? What would be the long-term effects of a zombie outbreak? In this video, we'll take a closer look at the science behind zombies and explore some of the possible consequences of an all-human outbreak. Imagine if one day, all of a sudden, every human on the planet became zombies. What would happen? You might think that the human race would be doomed, and you'd be right. The zombie apocalypse would be the end of civilization as we know it. But before we get to that point, there would be a lot of chaos. Panic would set in as people realized what was happening. There would be mass hysteria as people tried to flee the cities, only to find that the highways were clogged with traffic. And then, as the infection spread, the zombies would start to take over. There would be no government, no military, no law and order. It would be every man for himself as people fought for survival. The world would become a wasteland ruled by zombies. If the zombie virus were to spread, it would be a disaster for humanity. The first thing to go would be our infrastructure. The water and power grids would collapse, and within days, the entire world would be plunged into darkness. Next, the food supply would dwindle as packages and supermarkets ran out of food to sell. Within a few weeks, most of the population would be starving. And if that weren't bad enough, the virus would also be taking its toll on human society. There would be mass panic and violence as people fought for the last scraps of food and resources. It's a bleak picture, but it's something we need to be prepared for. So make sure you have a few weeks' worth of food and water stored away, just in case. If the zombie virus were to ever infect the human race, the effects would be devastating. Not only would the virus kill off a large percentage of the population, but it would also change how humans behave. Zombies are driven by a single instinct, to feed. And they'll feed on anything, including other humans. So in a world where everyone is a zombie, we would see an increase in cannibalism and violence. The social order would collapse, and humanity would be reduced to animals. It's a scary thought, but it's something we need to be prepared for. If you're ever in a situation where all other humans are infected, remember that you need to protect yourself and your loved ones at all costs. If the zombie apocalypse were to happen, society would quickly crumble. You might think that you would be safe because you're not a zombie, but you would be wrong. The moment an infection begins to spread, the military would be called in to contain it. And if they can't, or if they're overrun, then the general population would be at risk. The zombies would not discriminate, they would attack everyone. People would panic and flee the cities, creating mass chaos as they go. The infrastructure of society would collapse, and it would be every man for himself. Grocery stores and other essential services would be looted, and there would be no law and order. In the end, it's not hard to imagine a world where humans are outnumbered by zombies and have been pushed to the brink of extinction. So, you're probably wondering what would happen if the zombie apocalypse actually happened. I'm here to tell you that it would be pretty bad. Like, really bad. First of all, most of the population would be wiped out in a matter of days. Zombies are relentless and they move fast, so it would be pretty hard to survive if you were unlucky enough to get bitten. And even if you didn't get bitten, you'd still have to worry about all the other hazards that come with being in a world full of zombies. There would be no food, no water, and no shelter. The few survivors would be fighting for their lives every day, just trying to stay alive. It would be a nightmare scenario that I'm glad we'll never have to experience in real life. There's no telling what would happen if all humans were turned into zombies. but it would definitely be the end of civilization as we know it. The good news is, there are some things you can do to prepare for the zombie apocalypse. Stockpiling non-perishable food and water, arming yourself with a weapon, and learning self-defense are just a few of the things you can do to increase your chances of survival. The most important thing is to be prepared, both mentally and physically. If you can do that, you just might stand a chance against the hordes of zombies.